Oh, shit. Run up these likes, run up these likes. We back again with another one, gang. Listen, man. Blueface is out here wilding on 21 Savage now. A lot of people feel some type way about the F the Streets movement now. It seems like people are starting to realize that the nerds have taken over the culture, man. The nerds have made such noise in the culture, especially in 2025 now that the gangster rappers are saying, hey man, F the streets, because apparently they don't really care about who's gangster, who's a rat. They don't care, man. They trying to cater to everybody now. So it looks like 21 Savage is trying to make Gunna and Young Thug get cool again, which in my personal opinion, I don't know if that's a good idea, but hey, whatever happens, happens, man. This ain't got nothing to do with me, right? But this is what Blueface is talking about on social media, because Blueface feels some type of way about this gang. All right. Now he tells 21 Savage verbatim. I mean, he says this. Next time say F your street, LOL, I'm not shaking none of you niggas hands backstage no more. I never thought I'd see the day niggas saying F the streets for a 21 Savage feature. F the industry. Well, champ, I'm gonna be real with you. 21 Savage is more gangster than Blueface, and I'm gonna just say that right now. 21 Savage is more gangster than Blueface. Blueface ain't really got no business saying this because Blueface ain't did nothing. Yeah, you a schoolyard crip, but you ain't did nothing for the schoolyard crips, champ, aside from rap. If we're gonna be honest about the situation, people are saying you jumped off the porch when you were 21 or 22. That's nasty work, gang. How you start gang banging in your early 20s is nasty work. Majority of prominent gang members have actually started banging in their teens, all right? Which is in most gang members start banging. You getting put onto the set like 21, 22, you really ain't got no business saying these things because you're not really someone in the schoolyard crips that's done anything, champ. Yeah, you went to jail, but that's because you violated your probation, champ. That's why you went to jail, champ. All right, listen. The person that you did crimes to was actually someone who annoyed you, who was really an innocent bystander, champ. So you really ain't got no business saying F the streets when you're not in the streets to begin with, champ. All right, respectfully. We just gotta be real about the situation, man. Salute to Righteous01 in the chat who says 13 to 14 years old is the prime age. That's probably what most prominent gangbangers start gangbanging, depending on the circumstance, champ. But usually in their teens is when the gangbanging starts, right? Blueface is wildin'. Now, in the past, you know, Blueface kind of had some issues with some Atlanta people. He had an issue with Lil Baby. Apparently, Lil Baby might have tried to thrash Krishan Rock and all that. And then he dissed Blueface. Blueface dissed Lil Baby, my bad, and told him, how did you let another man hunch on your champ? How did you let that man on your cheeks, champ? That's nasty work, I ain't gonna lie. Right? He did allow that man who owns Fanatics to rub upon his buns, and that's very nasty work, I ain't gonna lie, right? You made Atlanta look how everyone thinks Atlanta looked when you allowed that man to do that to your backside, champ. Not gonna lie, right? Those all white parties got nasty, okay? But now, champ, now it looks as though he's pissed off at Atlanta because Atlanta's doing this F the streets movement. Now it looks as though people are trying to be cool with said rats that are being prosperous in music right now. I ain't gonna lie. Niggas said, listen, we gotta make this money, man. Being a gangster is no longer profitable in the music business, and everyone is cool with people ratting. So now we have to actually conform to this new normal in hip hop where the rats and the nerds are actually winning, champ. Okay? You win it. Uncle Doug says if you try to smash Krishan Rock, you have no type. If you try to smash Krishan Rock, you're gonna have a bump on your face that's the size of a rock, champ. Did you know that, champ? Yeah, you're gonna have a rock-sized bump on your lip, champ. You're gonna have that NBA YoungBoy disease, actually. Yeah, so you might not want to do those things, all right? Bad idea, champ. Just saying. Yeah, you might not want to do that. I don't think that's in your best interest. By the way, yeah. But back to this madness, champ. Um, what is the mayor's take on F the streets? Listen, I'm all for everybody not being in the streets no more, not incriminating themselves, not getting recos. I'm all for that. I think that's amazing and phenomenal. Here's what I disagree with, though. I disagree with being cool with rats. I don't think that's a good idea because now you kind of destroy the believability of your music in a way. Yeah, it's F the streets, but we are still gonna rap about street stuff because that is just the new hip hop and new age hip hop. We're gonna talk about sliding on ops. We're gonna talk about doing illegal things, champ. But we're not gonna go to prison for it. I guess that's cool, champ. We're gonna talk about popping said dope and other things. And we're not gonna go to prison for it. We're gonna talk about selling work, and we're not gonna go to prison for it, which I guess is cool, champ. But the moment that you do these songs with rats, it looks kind of crazy. See, for me personally, it destroys the believability in the music once you start making music with rats. And once the rats start making that same type of music, I'm really not gonna believe it. Like, you took the stand, champ, and why in the world is 6ix9ine opening his mouth? First of all, 6ix9ine had the audacity to perform a song that was written for him by a New York Blood member at the Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua fight. Niggas shouting out Treyway, champ, you're not a Billy anymore, champ. Why are you singing songs that were created by Blood members for you to record, champ? I don't understand. Why is 6ix9ine doing that? 6ix9ine is not a member of the Nine Trades, champ. Not anymore, at least. Did he get jumped on the set? Sure. Did he rep the set? Sure. Did he make music about the set? Sure. But champ, you're not Nine Trey anymore, champ. You ratted, you told, you bended, and you fold. You did those things, champ. You violated, okay? Some people think it's okay for 6ix9ine to tell because apparently the feds got in his ear and said that his other gang member friends thrashed his baby moms. Now, is that true? We can't prove that. These guys said they never did anything with his baby mom. The feds usually play these games with the person that they know is going to tell and tries to convince them and motivate them to tell even more. And I think that's what the feds did in New York City, gang. The feds said, hey, champ, did you know that your gangbanger buddy also banged your BM, champ? They did what? Yeah, they thrashed your BM, champ. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they clapped those cheeks, champ. Are you going to tell us more? Sure, Officer Rodriguez, I'm going to tell you more. I bet you are, champ. You can't just let them get away with thrashing those buns. Like, all right, say that, champ. No need for you to shout out that you're non-Trey Billy Badass, because you ain't non-Trey, gang, by the way. You're not non-Trey no more, champ. Jay Nitty says, it traces back to feminine traits with the F the Streets movement. Remember when 21 Savage wore, what did he wear, champ? Listen, the most feminine thing that I personally seen 21 Savage do was have the I am a 2 picket sign while walking with Amber Rose during walk. That's the worst thing I seen 21 Savage do. When he was with Amber Rose doing walk, champ, that's when I was like, oh, champ, 21 Savage looks crazy. Not one of his toughest moments ever, I ain't gonna lie, but 21 Savage is more gangster than Blueface. At least 21 Savage is a valid member of Sex Money Murder in Atlanta. Blueface, I don't know what you did for the Schoolyard Crips, but they don't have a resume for you, champ. I'm just saying, there's no resume for you with the Schoolyard Crips that you've done things. We just gotta be honest about the situation. You dig? Oh, champ. I know, champ. It's wild. Run up these likes, though. You heard? Run up these likes. We got a Glazer in the building. Once again, I see you came back on another account, champ. Apparently, you like the Mayor's Frank. I'm glad you do, but you got to get in line and wait, champ. Your mother's first, right? You don't skip your mother in line when it comes to the Mayor's Frank. All right, you're gonna have to hug the shadow, though. All right, cardio is best in your best favor. All right, just saying. Yeah, man, if you want a piece of the Mayor's Frank, yeah, your mother's first in line, by the way. All right, stop skipping the line, champ. Thanks. J Nitty says, yup, that's what it was. Yo, listen, that's cool and all. But this F the streets thing, like I said, I'm cool with the sentiment of it. But at the end of the day, are we doing this so we can make collaborations with rappers? I mean, I don't think that's good, man. Listen, if this means that you don't commit crimes anymore, you don't incriminate yourself anymore, I'm all for it. That's great. That's phenomenal. No more Ricos? Amazing. We doing songs with rats? Are we being cool with rats under the guise of F the streets? I don't think we should be shaking rat hands because of that. I'm just saying. I think rats, you know what I'm saying? I think rats shouldn't, like, that's crazy, man. Try Savage, hope I'm saying your name right, my dear, says, I don't know nobody on any coast with the rainbow theme. That's why they in jail for playing with their feet, certified buttheads. That's the first, I guess. Stop the lie said, this new Blueface is lame and corny. Yo, listen. Blueface needs to chill out, man. Blueface gotta relax, man. I don't know what Blueface is trying to do. Blueface hasn't done anything for the schoolyard Crips, bro, and nobody's gonna say that he did, which is crazy, right? But here we are, man. Here we are. Uncle Dust says old Blueface wasn't lame. Listen, I'm kind of slandering Blueface right now, but let me say something good about Blueface. Before Blueface went to jail, got locked up, his music wasn't too bad, champ. He got a song that I actually like that was pretty dope. I like it. All right, it was nice. It's called Hello by Blueface. It's a fire song, man. He did a song for Jaden Alexis. Wasn't bad, champ. I will say that. He made some pretty good music before he got locked up. Now, I can't say the same. Things changed. You know what I'm saying? Stop the Line says it's Whack controlling his ex account. He says the dumbest ish. Nah. Whack 100 is not controlling Blueface's account, okay? Whack is his manager, though. That is a fact. You dig? Oh, champ. Short for Tracy. Trey. Ah, got you. I got you, my dear. I got you. Listen, man. Like I said, with the whole F the streets thing, man, if it means that there's no more criminality, then this actually ruins the careers of certain people. So here's the real issue with F the streets, right? Not for me per se, but you have people like Charleston White, Whack 100, Seti Nash, Traveler Ross, who else? Poetic Flakko, DJ Akademiks. Where you have these individuals who make a living off of incriminating others. Saying F the streets kind of ruins their clout. You're destroying what it is that they built, champ. Imagine Traveler Ross not being able to incriminate rappers, champ, because rappers are saying F the streets. You're putting them in jeopardy. So now they have to paint a narrative, champ. All right, now they have to paint a narrative because now someone like Charleston White, Whack 100, Traveler Ross, they no longer really have anything to talk about. So once you destroy what they can talk about, you're kind of ruining them in a way. Dust says, nah, they'll just lie. Well, they're not gonna have a choice but to lie, champ, but it's gonna be hard now because now you gotta convince the public. You gotta convince the public that these guys are criminals now, champ. And now you gotta paint a narrative about them of something they did in the past all of a sudden, but they're not actively trying to incriminate themselves. So now they have to make it seem like, what type of behavior are you doing that makes it look like you're violating your probation or what have you? We already didn't have some YouTubers trying to get Thug locked back up already, saying, hey, I think I saw a young Thug doing dope on live stream. He just violated his probation, which would pretty much get young Thug locked up if his probation officer would have called him or what have you. And you know how that's gonna go. So yeah, this actually makes it harder for creators who want to incriminate rappers to thrive, because F the streets means you guys are not going to be doing anything remotely criminal anymore, right? That's not good. Are you guys making positive music? That's not good. So now what songs do we have to break down to try to incriminate you on YouTube, champ? Yeah, it's going to get crazy, man. I don't know. Stop the Lie says Blueface face tats are so dumb. He's trying to force his fake street image to the youth, a bunch of marketing logos. Well, let me be honest with you, champ. The youth is not listening to Blueface. I know y'all think that a lot of the youth is paying these guys some mind, but they're really not, bro. They're listening to NBA Youngboy. They're listening to Playboy Cardi, these type of rappers. Blueface doesn't even fit that category, so they're not listening to Blueface. Hell, we not even listening to Blueface. Blueface will never have a mega hit ever again. I mean, he's had like 1 or 2 hits, the Bust Down Tatianas and all that, but that was so long ago, nearly pre-pandemic. You know what I'm saying? Blueface ain't about to make no hits, so the kids ain't listening to him. The kids want hits. All right, they want to destroy Lonelies and etc. That's what they want. That's what they're listening to. Okay, they're not listening to Blueface. Blueface is irrelevant. You dig? Sigerton says all rappers are saying the streets is a myth. Well, let me be very clear. The streets will never be a myth. Nothing that goes on in the streets is a myth. Fiends is not a myth. Selling work is not a myth. People getting smoked is not a myth. Gangbanging is not a myth. People getting put in RICO situations is not a myth. The streets will never be a myth whatsoever. If they saying F the streets, they're not going to do no street stuff no more, cool. But the streets will never be a myth. There's nothing that's a myth in the street. People done lost their lives and lost everything in the streets. People put blood, sweat, and tears in the streets. The streets can never be a myth, all right? Please understand that. I done seen it for myself. It's not a myth. It's nothing. If you go out to the street and you acting out and you trying to play gangster, you're going to find out how much of a myth it's not. So the streets will never be a myth. I don't care who's saying that nonsense. The people who saying the streets is a myth is not in the streets. They're not in the streets. They don't know what's going on in the streets because they're not there. So anyone saying the streets is a myth hasn't been there, so they don't know. There's no myth in the streets. The streets are gonna always be there. Crime is gonna always be there. Fiends are gonna always be there. Gangbanging is gonna always be there. It's never gonna change. It's been happening. It'll only evolve over time. You dig what I'm saying? Yeah, all of the rats want to be cool now, right? All the rats want to be cool. People are more susceptible to having rappers that told, right? They're more open to that now. Now they don't really care as much as they did in the past where a rapper was telling. But now they don't care no more. Now they don't care no more. Now they're like, oh, well, hey, well, he's a rat, but his music is good. You know what I'm saying? Trey Savage says on all coasts, the streets is real. I agree. That is a fact. The streets is real. Okay. I've been in the streets. It's definitely real. It's 1,000% real, man. People don't know the difference between, people don't really know the true meaning of what a rat is too at the same time, right? People are going to try to paint the narrative that, hey, Thug is trying to save face and all that nonsense. First of all, it took a group of individuals who were known as rats to try to paint the narrative that Thug is a rat. Now, me being me, I know people in Atlanta. I know people connected to Thug. I know people connected to Gunna. I know people connected to 21 Savage and all that. And I know for a fact that Young Thug is not a rat. 1,000% he's not. He hasn't been a rat and he never was a rat. Things are very easily manipulated for people to see something and believe what they see when it's not what it is. You dig? Jay Nitty says the only myth is their characters trying to get clout. Or champ. Maybe. Possibly. The only issue here is you guys are trying to big up rats, and that's gonna look crazy, but they're doing it for business purposes. They're doing it for business purposes. They're not doing it because they want to do it. It looks like this is a business move. Hey, we gotta try to get Thug and Gunna to make amends. For what? Listen, Young Thug's music as of late has been complete trash. Has he made a song here or there that can hit? Yes, I've heard some Thug songs that are pretty good, but for the most part, they've been trash. His last album was a flop, a fluke. One of the worst albums of 2025 was Young Thug's album, unfortunately. And it's because he just doesn't have what he used to have. All that swag that he had prior to him getting locked up It's gone now. He lost that spark. He lost that aura. It's not there anymore. Thug is doing thug. He's doing other things, man. He's not the same thug as before. He's not YSL thug. It seems like his confidence is in the toilet. We're not gonna get that thug again. It's just not gonna happen, man. Now, the smartest person in this situation has been Future, because Future hasn't said a goddamn thing, man. Future makes his music and he goes about his day. Future was also someone who was in the streets moving work once upon a time, but Future has been a crazy success in music and is known as the Jay-Z of Atlanta. You dig? Just a fact. Stop the Line says Blueface went to school in Santa Clarita. He had a cousin that was living in the hood, he claims. He should shut up. He only did 1 year out of the 4-year sentence. That's right, because guess what? He violated his probation, and that's why he got locked up, man. All right? So, yeah, I don't know what the hell Blueface thinks he's doing, but Blueface, we don't really recognize you as someone who is doing things like that, champ. The schoolyard Crips, you haven't put in any pain for the schoolyard Crips, champ. It'd be different if you actually put pain in. Now, we have other rappers who are also saying all this F the streets stuff is nonsense and they don't like it. But a lot of the people that's saying that haven't done anything in the streets. A lot of them is pretending to be street. You dig? Now, you might have some people who was in the streets, who want to commit crimes, who want to, make themselves look very well known to the feds, so the feds know to lock them up in the future. You might have people like that. Talk about F the streets. Hey, champ, I'm doing illegal stuff right now, champ. Well, we know, champ, the feds caught on. You're going to get locked up soon. Don't worry about it. This is definitely a safety net in order to not get hit with any type of federal crime. I'm going to just say that. You dig? Trey Savage says Thug just repeated what he heard, but some would call it telling, even though he didn't point folks out. Well, he didn't repeat what he heard. Here's the true thing about Thug and what Thug happened. Thug was not in an interrogation at all. Thug came into where he was at and told the police stuff to get your boy YSL Pee Wee out of jail, because Pee Wee was locked up already. He was trying to get Pee Wee out of jail because they were saying that Pee Wee shot at Wayne's tour bus, and all he said was nah. All we did was give Wayne some bud. That's not telling. That's him being honest. They cannot lock up someone who's already locked up. Thug never told on anybody. If you know about that audio, in fact, that audio that everybody heard was already on YouTube, but Seti Nash paid the guy $400 to take it off YouTube so they can re-establish that audio to the world as if Young Thug told. And this idea came from Whack 100, and Whack 100 teamed up with Trap LaRose, Akademiks, 6ix9ine, and other people who are known as rats to push this narrative that Young Thug was a rat because it would be a big story. You dig? So yeah, nobody told anything. Young Thug was not under no police pressure or anything like that. He just came to the station because he was trying to get Pee Wee out of jail. And that's a fact. All right. So anybody calling it ratting don't really know the situation. But I know the situation because I know people who actually know why it's Pee Wee. So it's different, man. I actually know people in Atlanta. Everybody don't know people in Atlanta like that. I do business in Atlanta. That's what people don't know about me. But hey, that's neither here nor there. What do I know, champ? I just happen to know some folks in Atlanta who been in the street, champ, and know people in the street. Stop the Line says the end of Blueface's tweet says he never thought he'd see the day people would be saying F the industry. What the F is he talking about? Nothing, champ. Absolutely nothing. But the end of his tweet doesn't say that. He says he never thought he would see people trying to do features with 21 Savage. That's what he's talking about. He said he never thought he'd see the day people would be saying F the streets for 21 Savage is really what he's saying. You dig what I'm saying? B Chill says, could it be ATL music just doesn't hit the same anymore? That's not true, because we still got Playboy Cardi, we still got Destroyed Lonely, and the whole Opium scene. Opium is very much popular right now. If Atlanta music was so gone, there wouldn't be successes. I mean, Future just had a couple hits, earlier in the year. I mean, he did the whole thing with Metro Boomin. That was a pretty big album. You dig what I'm saying? So saying Atlanta music doesn't hit the same anymore is just not true. Plus, you have Gunna, and Gunna's having a very successful career and had a great year as well. His album is doing numbers. Even though Gunna is a rat, he's still from Atlanta and his music is still hitting. So saying that Atlanta music doesn't hit the same anymore is just not true because the numbers say otherwise. I'm just saying. I mean, look at how much clout Playboy Cardi is getting right now. I don't know if you've been paying attention. Fortnite just made a skin for Playboy Cardi. I mean, bro, Atlanta music is still at the top when it comes to hip hop. When it comes to hip hop, that is. People might not be tapped in or paying attention, but yes, Atlanta is definitely still very much big in hip hop. It hasn't really gone anywhere. Maybe Young Thug's album sucked because it did, but that doesn't mean anything. Gunna's album was better. Cardi had a great album. You have the whole opium scene. All right. Ken Carson is also big right now. So again, we can't say that ATL music don't hit the same because the numbers say otherwise. The masses say otherwise. You dig? Some people might hate Atlanta music, but that's their business. You feel me? You don't have to like it. Everything is not for everybody. Is all I'm gonna say. But I'm not gonna sit up here and act as though Atlanta still ain't got a presence, because it very much does, whether we like it or not. You know, I got nothing against it. But this After Streets thing is very interesting, is all I'm gonna say. How far do they go with this After Streets thing is the question. Because if you guys are gonna be doing music and making up with rats, I don't know how much I can support that. Again, I support people not doing crimes, not incriminating themselves. That's amazing. That's great. But once you start dapping up and hugging it out with rats, I don't know about that, champ. This is where I draw the line. We may have to draw a line in the sand right there. I ain't gonna lie. Hugging on rats. Champs, don't you know that rats carry the black plague, champ? Rats carry the black plague. All right? Rats carry the black plague. So I don't know. You dig? And if rats carry the black plague, I'm not giving one a hug. Get it, champ? I'm not giving something that has the plague a hug, champ. It just won't happen. Sorry, champ. Not sorry. Alright, yo, listen, gang. Do the man a favor, make sure you smash up on a like, man. Smash the like button, share the video. Let the man know how you feel in the comment section, man. How do y'all feel, man? I need y'all to leave a comment, man. Also, hit the hype button when the video's on. When the video is over, I need y'all to hit the hype button, man. Up those hype points, okay? We need that. Helps the channel in a major way, okay? And one more thing before we get all the way up out of here. Are you ready, gang? It's the mayor. The one and only real New York Mayor, F. Mom Donnie, and you rocking with the town favorite Showface News. It's Big Gotham, and you already know it's the town versus everybody at all times. Hey, I'm up out of here, gang. Salute.